Alone in the Dark is one of the original survival horror games. I never played it on release in 1992 because I was like 5 years old, so today we'll be hitting up the remake from 2024. Now, I'm not going to explain too much of the plot as I go. I think this is a game that is worth playing yourself, but of course I will probably forget that knowledge halfway through when I start explaining random shit. We meet our two characters. We have Emily, who's received a letter from her uncle suggesting that he might be going mad or might be getting dragged into some kind of cult and has gone missing, and she has hired Edward, a PI, to come with her to see if they can solve the problem. They are travelling to a place called Deseto, which is, it's not an asylum, it's not a rehab, it's kind of a retreat away for people that need to rest their mind. It just sounds fucking ridiculous when I try and explain it. We can play the game as either Emily or Edward, and we do have to play as both of them to get the platinum, but we're going to start as Edward first. The front doors are locked, so we're going to have to go through the back way to make our way in. And that begins the first chapter. There are only 5 chapters to this game. It's a very quick narrative to get through. And here we find our first item. I'm really glad I went looking over here. I don't know if this is missable or not, but thank God, because it's a torch. And of course, this game is a dark game, so we need our light. There are a few trophies related to collectibles in this game, so we need to search everywhere. Look at this creepy cat in the bin. I'm going to shoot it, because I don't trust anything in a survival horror game. Nah, it's gone now. Alright, let's go in here. There's something down there, but we have to come back to it. Can't access it yet. Who closed the doors? These doors were open. Why are they closed? Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on these doors. Who's closing them behind me? This big tree is whispering to me. Oh, a key. Keys are very important in this game. There is a trophy for unlocking all the doors and all the safes, so we need to make sure we can find all of these. We got our first trophy too. We find our first alcoholic beverage, which acts as our health in this game. I'm not going to drink any of it this first playthrough because there's a trophy for one playthrough without using any health. We'll see how that works out for me. Starting to find clues already. There is 159 collectibles. A lot of these clues are tied into the puzzles to help progress. And of course they are just adding to the lore and the background of the game as well. Just exploring the kitchen. There's a lot of backtracking in this game, so almost every area can actually be returned to at a later time. This kitchen is not one of them, actually. I cannot return to the kitchen later. Coming into the cellar, at the moment, I can't unlock some of these puzzles because I don't have the pieces. So it might seem like that there are multiple paths to take, but it's a generally very linear track. It doesn't have you try and juggle 5 puzzles at one time. It's usually puzzle, next puzzle, etc. Which I like because my brain is too small to juggle multiple puzzles at once. I've come upstairs, and this room helps. This room has a key and the map, which is going to help find our way through the place. Let's have a look in here. Okay, we're at reception. We must be close to letting Emily in the front door. What's that? A rubber stamp. This is the first of the collectibles that we've found called Lagniappies? How the hell? I've never seen that word before in my life. How do you pronounce that? Lanyap. Okay, lanyap. A small gift given to somebody at time of purchase or an unexpected extra benefit or bonus. Ah, right. That makes sense. That's kind of like when you get that extra potato cake in your fish and chips. And you've got to collect 45 of these collectibles. They each make a set. Some of these sets are related to trophies and also the alternate endings. So we do need to get a trophy for collecting all of them, as well as certain trophies for different endings and different scenarios along the way. And these have to be collected amongst both of the characters. We can't get all the collectibles in one character. We have to share it amongst the two. So we do have to play the game twice with both characters. Alright, we'll open the door for Emily and let her in. Gives us a very brief introduction to some of the NPCs, but they're almost not worth learning about. Now, we're told that Jeremy has gone missing, but they send us to his room so we can search it and begin our investigation. Now, here we get the commonplace book, which is one of the most important clues because it contains the solutions to several different puzzles. So this is a very important piece. I don't think you can progress without it. Inside it is also a tile for the first puzzle box, which you don't need the book for. If you know what a picture of a tree looks like, I hope you can figure this one out yourself. These characters find a painting that Jeremy has done in his room, and that begins to trip Edward out a little bit, and it seems the world outside has changed, and this is why I'm having a bit of trouble explaining the plot. Some of this game is set in the real world, and some of it's set in an alternate real world. They blend the worlds together very well, and there are times when I can't tell the difference which world we're in, but I think the game is meant to be deliberately confusing to put you into the situation of the characters. You're supposed to be questioning the scenes with them. It probably makes much more sense if you've actually played the game and you're familiar with what the hell is going on. But now that the outside seems to have changed into the main streets, we're going to go out and have a look. We get our first monster pop up. I don't know what they're called. They're just called monsters. These shots aren't doing anything. This very first enemy of the game absolutely tries to sucker me in. Watch this. Ah! Fuck you. Fuck you. Now you're on the trolley. I don't understand that reference, but that's for killing an enemy with a gun. That first monster either disappeared or skulked off. It was just there as bait for me. But our main objective is to make it to this voodoo shop. I'm going to check out the alleyway behind it first. Be a bin scab and see what I can find. What's this? Oh, a pipe. This will be my melee weapon. Oh, shit. Whoa, Jesus, mate. Oh, eat pipe, eat lead, you bitch. Well, that got us a trophy for our first melee kill. Alright, let's go into the voodoo shop. So, of course, because we're down in New Orleans, there is certainly a high emphasis on voodoo and superstition surrounding that. And that's probably what's leading to this situation that we're in, this weirdness that seems to be happening. We meet Batiste, and he tells us that Jeremy has made a pact with the Dark Man, which in this case may as well be the devil or a devil, and that Jeremy has a talisman that allows him to travel between the two realms of the real and the madness, or whatever they call it, because he started to suspect that the NPCs and all the staff around this place are part of a cult. So he's using this talisman to hide from them. And he gives us a set of keys to get through the next area. There's a trophy for talking to all the NPCs, and it looks like I missed one right here. I wasn't really thinking too hard about that trophy at this point. This is the first NPC that I've interacted with, and I completely forgot to exhaust all of his dialogue. So that's good. I've already missed one of the collectibles. That enemy has way too many limbs. Never really run out of ammo in this game, which is good. Alright, let's see. Upstairs. Hey buddy, good night. There we go. Reload, we've used 3 bullets. Reload. Yep, okay. Oh, fuck off! What? Yeah, double tap. Yeah. So now we've learnt pretty early on that these bastards like to hide around corners. And it's not quite a jump scare per se, but it is... It's one of those lesser jump scares. Alright, now we got our own talisman, and this allows us to travel between the madness and the real world, but it also acts as a combination lock. We will use this to solve several puzzles, and that gives us a trophy as well. And now we use it for the first time. Most of these puzzles are very straightforward. So we'll go through this door, and we're back in the real world. We're in the office of Dr. Gray, who is in charge of Deseto. And this is where it gets confusing already. I thought the streets of New Orleans with Batiste was real. Batiste is a real character. He's not a figment of our imagination. Wasn't that the real world? And where we got our talisman, wasn't that the real? And now we're out. Bloody hell, I'm confused. confused already. This better not be like Shutter Island, because that was shit. I think the characters are deliberately written to be a little vague so we don't trust them. Dr. Gray suggests maybe we talk to the other staff and residents, and that might help us with our investigation. Good idea, why didn't I think of that? And now Emily is a bit confused as to the situation, but we are also confused because we don't know why Emily's confused. She doesn't realize that we've been on a trip and we're gonna play this normally. Like, yeah, nah, that's cool. Nah, we're good. But strangely enough, Edward, you would expect him as the PI to be the guy that thumbs his nose at all this superstition and tells everybody you're being stupid, but he seems to embrace this idea of these superstitions very quickly and easily, making him seem like the weird one. So Edward has decided that if he can follow Jeremy into the mad world whatever, using the talisman, he might be able to help break the pact that Jeremy made with the Dark Man. So that is essentially the main story. To kick off chapter 2, we are going to have to figure out the astronomical clock puzzle. Now it needs 2 plates to complete, and we learn from our clues where the plates are. In room 6 we've got this puzzle. Inside this desk is one of the plates that we needed. I spent a bit of time trying to break the shotgun case. We clearly can't get to the shotgun just yet, so it's a bit futile trying to break it open for the time being. But we're going to go back out into the garden. That hole that I discovered earlier, that was one of the plates in the bottom of it, so we're going to go and solve that by grabbing the hose out of the garden shed and filling up the hole so it floats to the top. And now we can take both of those pieces back to the clock. And that's another trophy. This will tell us where to go to get to the next memory madness area, whatever you want to call it. No. Ah, damn it, I missed something. I missed a collectible, damn it. Alright, well, definitely a second playthrough. Oh, I bet we can kick that bloody thing down. Look at it, looks flimsy as shit. Yep, okay, that's a trophy. The game wants us to sneak through this next area, but I'm just too impatient to be bothered sneaking. I'd rather just shoot my way through, so I do. We're turning off this oil pump and climbing this tower. For some reason, the area is now on fire. I assume it's just been flooded with oil, but there's not really an explanation. But hey, we're in the mad realm, so why the bloody hell not? At the top of this tower we find tough cloth. Tough cloth for hard drinking PIs. Oh, here we go. If I know my survival horror, this bloody thing's going to be bugging the shit out of us the entire game. It's just going to turn up at the most inappropriate time and just keep annoying us until we have to kill it at the end, or maybe as a semi-final boss.
It's the hateful mound Jeremy talked about in his...
A hateful mound? Oh, I've got one of those. Now inside this mound, this beast attacks us and knocks us right back into reality. But the good news is we managed to pick up Jeremy's bag. And inside the bag is an item that we can use to unlock wedged doors now. So that gives us more progression. So that's always beneficial. From here, we're going to just turn right around and go over to this door now that we can unwedge it. This is the drawing room. And inside is a telescope. As noted earlier, star signs are definitely part of this superstition. But of course, we need a lens for this telescope because nothing can be too easy. And we got the key to the cellar, so now we can explore the cellar. And we found a dog collar lanyard, which gives me a complete set of 3. And now that we leave this room, look what's open. Yes, shotgun time. Every game is improved with the addition of a shotgun. Doing a bit of exploring, but we've got the cellar key, so we need to go downstairs to fix the boiler, which of course we need 2 plates to fix again. What's in here? Lozenges. That looks like a piece to a puzzle. Here we have a conversation with Grace. For some reason there's a small child that has no guardian at Deseto. Edward seems to feel like he knows this girl from somewhere. Whether it's part of the story or not, she is just like all the other NPCs and is a little bit elusive, so as to keep Edward and presumably us guessing as to what the true motivations of these people are. But in this room is the medicine puzzle, which we solve, and that gives us one of the plates for the boiler. And now we will actually head down to the cellar. We need to get past the boiler. It's currently blowing hot air, hot steam in our path. So we'll go down, we'll grab a valve, turn it off so we can get past. The floor is electrified, so in order to get to the valve, we've got to turn the power off, leaving us alone in the dark, except for our little torch light that we have. On our way back, there's a swamp man, so we can put this shotgun to good use and get hard-boiled. Now we can put the valve on this boiler so we can get past it. And, oh look, there's Jeremy, or what looks like it could be Jeremy. He doesn't say anything. Oh, and he starts growing, I don't know, limpets, eyeballs, mushrooms. And then he just disappears, but he does leave behind the second plate we needed for the boiler. Well, that was weird. So now we got both plates for the boiler, we can solve that puzzle. And that leads us out into the cemetery. Well, this bad boy jumps out of a tomb to scare us. And we get a proper look at his right arm. This enemy has an entire upper body as his right arm, which is suitably scary. It's actually good design. The jump scares are pretty pathetic though at this point. Yeah, I'm not sneaking through a graveyard. I have a shotgun. I'm down in these catacombs and there's this one monster hiding. Like, I can see you, buddy. I know you're going to burst out and attack me. But then he does something that monsters don't normally do. He backs away. He'll be back. Oh, I'll bet that was you, wasn't it? From downstairs. Now we're in another set of catacombs, and this area is just bullshit. The monsters burst out and they're too close to get a good shot of them, so I just start swinging. But there's too many of them. This is when I realized, oh, maybe I'm supposed to be running past them. Which I am. Maybe I'm just going the wrong way or something. This is just fucking bullshit. And since I'm also on a no heal run, I'm taking about 1 or 2 hits before I'm dead. Once I figured out the path to go, it only takes a few seconds. But the frustrating part is that these monsters are in the way and take up the entire space of the tunnel. You can't get past them, and then once they swing at you, they stagger you. Fucking dumbass bullshit. Of course, I did get through it, and we've got all the coins needed to unlock the chapel, where we do actually find Jeremy. But the Dark Man also appears, and Jeremy knocks you back into reality, so the Dark Man can't grab you. Conveniently, we also have the key from him, which allows us to go back to his room and unlock his trunk, which inside has the lens for the telescope, which is great because that leads us to Chapter 3. Chapter 3 begins with us neither alone nor in the dark. I'm fairly certain that the point of being here is that a way to break the pact with the Dark Man is hidden somewhere in the library. We meet Juan, who is maddeningly unhelpful and just makes it a whole lot more confusing. We ascend through the library. I half expect these stone monks to turn around and pull some bloody weeping angels bullshit on me, because all statues cannot be trusted. I come up here and I grab the key of, I thought it said Hubris, but it says Hubertus. And, uh-oh, what's going on here? The elevator. Okay. What's the black smoke? What's the black smoke? Oh shit, it's the Dark Man. Oh shit. And we're dead immediately. Okay. I see what's happening. The darkness is draining our health and we don't have much health, so we must run, and I wasn't running quick enough. I was just standing around marveling at the beauty of the Dark Man instead of getting my fucking tits out of there. So it is clear to me now that we need to get out of the library to that elevator while avoiding this Dark Man and his dark cloud, which is pretty straightforward. We get up to the elevator and find what we're after, but the Dark Man, as a being of power, takes what we need from us. Juan luckily comes along and distracts him long enough for us to escape. We got just enough information that we can materialize in the area we need to be. I have no idea what the hell realm we're in at this point, because we are no longer chasing Jeremy through his memories. Now we're in the shipping yard, which is our next lead. Upstairs in the warehouse, we find a Tommy gun. This could come in very handy. There's going to be a shit ton of enemies turn up in a moment, and I'm going to need a machine gun. Now, what I'm supposed to do is open up the safe in this office, but I legitimately got lost and had no idea because I couldn't figure out the combination. So I ended up running all the way back down through the sewers. I popped back up outside and there was still a monster, so I blew him away with a Tommy gun to get gangster. But I eventually backtracked back to the warehouse and found the safe and realized, yes, I did have the clue. The clue was given to me the whole time and figured it out, and that wasn't too hard. None of these doors really were giving me much. And that's when I actually got my first and only legit jump scare from this game, because I was running directly at this door and it burst open with a fucking fistful of monsters. I'm not sure if one of them knocked over the lamp or if I shot it, but the lamp burst into flames and set them all on fire. So one of them died by fire to get bonfire night. But we did put them down relatively easily. I was expecting them to come from all directions, but no, they just bottlenecked through the door, so I took them all out. And we leave the warehouse, head over the street to a theatre, and find Jeremy once again. Now, Jeremy seems to know, or at least suspect he knows how to break the pact with the Dark Man, but doesn't want Edward to do it for him, and so he flees. Edward doesn't follow him, but is still intent on helping him break the pact. We have to solve the puzzle of the sarcophagus to get out of the room, and we travel out into a desert in the middle of an eclipse. If I have to pray to the fucking moon presence, I swear to God. I'm going to head over to this camp to grab this rope so I can rappel down the hole into the temple. Let's just recap a little bit here. We've got a big helping of voodoo superstition, some parapsychology, and a steaming serve of astrology. But for some reason now we're adding Egyptian culture to the mix because fuck it, let's add more confusing lore. Down in the temple we're going to have the most video game moment ever. We have to activate the 3 gems using the 3 lasers around the temple. I use these lasers to burn down these tapestries. There's no reason behind it. I just thought it was cool that the environment was reacting, and I just want to see things burn. Look, the first laser beam is up the top, and then I have to go back down to activate the second one, and then the third one is back up the way I just came from. This is so fucking tedious. This feels like just waste my time because I can waste my time. Now we activate the door gems and point all 3 lasers at the crown of this statue, which unlocks the master laser. And the big one, of course, we can point down at the ground, which unlocks something for us. But oh no! Earthquake! We've done it now. We've set off the booby traps. We better escape quickly because the building is now falling apart. Oh! Oh, we can't go that way. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see. It's going to funnel us the way it wants us to go. Okay. So the defenses for this temple are now sealing us in while it crumbles apart. No, I don't think we want to go that way. We want to leave.
This is ready to collapse.
Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Sherlock Holmes, everybody. No shit, it's coming down, you dickhead. The centerpiece has been opened, and inside there is a ceremonial dagger and the contract that Jeremy signed with the Dark Man. And now the monster bugs carry us off into the night, out of the temple completely, and then we fade to black to begin chapter 4, and for some reason we wake up in the real world in the attic. Alright. Emily is there conveniently also in the attic. That seems a bit weird. She doesn't think anything weird is going on, although I am looking forward to playing Emily's side of the story to see what she's been experiencing while Edward's been going through all of this weird shit. She assumes that he's wasted. He's filthy, he has multiple blood stains, and he does look like he's been on the piss all night. You know it's a big night when you wake up with multiple blood stains in the attic. Now that we've returned from Egypt with the Dark Man's contract, we get Where I Belong, and for some reason now we have to head to Dr. Gray's office to find more information. Now I try and go through the piazza doorway, but of course it's blocked, deliberately it would seem. So what the hell is going on here? In the greenhouse, the tree is now communicating in words, or we can just understand it better. In Dr. Gray's office, we get more keys and more clues, specifically referring to Jeremy's treatment, which means we need to head down to the infirmary to look at his x-rays. And this is where the Dark Man turns up. I think until now the Dark Man has only appeared in the other world, but now it seems that he's in the real world, but your guess is as good as mine. Who the fuck knows? But he seems to just be there to point at this room at the end of the corridor, and then he just disappears. And of course, once we approach this door, we can't unlock it. A puzzle for another time. In the infirmary, we just need to get the 3 x-rays and work on the x-ray puzzle, which is a dumbass puzzle. I'm an idiot because I couldn't figure it out, because I would just naturally assume someone would put an x-ray up straight, not crooked. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take 3 x-rays of the brain and we're going to all have them on a 45-degree angle. This place is run by madmen. And when you solve this x-ray puzzle, you get a solid physical chunk of statue. I don't think that's how x-rays work, but at this point, I don't think questions matter anyway. Leaving the infirmary, we're going to ascend up to the attic, but the place starts to flood because reality and madness are the same thing at this point. So we get into the attic and we find the rest of the statue that we just got a piece for from the x-ray. So once we figure out the statue puzzle, it tells us where to go. Just head down into the paddle steamer. Alright, so where are we going? This way. Yeah, okay. Whoa, ah! Fuck off, mind bug! Fuck off!
The boat's wedged itself right into the bayou. If I get the motor started, I could try reversing back into the river.
The boat is not wedged into the bayou, it's been fucking rammed into the bayou. No amount of turning the engine on is going to get it out of here. Reversing it will probably make it help sink quicker, but yes, that means we have to go and find the engine room and turn the engine on. And that gets us moving, and we are able to fall back into Dr. Gray's office, while it seems he is having a session with Jeremy, which seems to also be a different type of memory because they don't react to Edward. But then he snaps back to reality and turns out he's just in Dr. Gray's office with Dr. Gray, and that unlocks the trophy when therapy makes it worse. It's supposed to make it better?
That was Jeremy's
Earlier on we saw the Dark Man appear and point us to that room, so now we can actually go and check that room out, which seems to be Edward's room that he's been staying in even though he's only been here for a day or something. Look, this is just the Dark Man is now using Edward's memories against him. We actually travel into Edward's memories of a failed case that he had, because he couldn't be a PI without a failed case in his history. We're going to follow the trail of his investigation, which eventually leads us to a bridge across a river. On this bridge, we find Grace, the girl that Edward recognized from earlier, and it's all beginning to fall into place. This is the reason he recognized her earlier but couldn't place her, because he has met her before. I'm a bad person, so I aimed a shotgun at a child, and that unlocked watch where you're waving that thing. We need to lower the bridge so that we can get across to the car that is in the water in an attempt to save Grace's drowning father. That is the bad memory that the Dark Man is trying to use against him, and as Edward is trying to save this man, he is pulled under. And if you look closely, I just noticed that Emily is in the cabin of the car underwater. That's interesting. I wonder what the hell that's supposed to mean. And kersplash, we are tipped out of the bathtub back into Seto. And once we finish this, we get this trophy. Now we're getting really close to the end of the game now, so we're heading to see Dr. Gray in his private room. We're going to meet up with Emily there. And when we make it there, we get the past as a present trophy. Solving the puzzles in this area leads us to open the closet, which is giving us access to a way out into another area. Emily just thinks it's a plain old closet. She can't see that it's a portal to another area, so Edward says, well, I'm going through, I'll see you later. And so we travel into the closet and we come out into Antarctica for some reason. Why the fuck not? We get the trophy Frenzy, and the description says enter hell. So maybe it's hell disguised as Antarctica? At this point, we can just shrug and just keep going. We're giving a flare gun and flares. Because it's nighttime and there's a blizzard, I assume this is to help us navigate, but it is completely fucking useless. So I just ran in a straight line from point to point lighting lamps. That's all you need to do. The wind, the cold, the blizzard, nothing hurts you. And I just know that there's a fucking collectible hiding out in the pitch black of the snow somewhere. And after a short bit, we have to come up this hill, and the game forces us to travel slowly up the hill towards Aurora Borealis. At this point, I'm completely lost on how to explain what's happening. This guy, I don't know who he is. He is doing something to the machine, maybe. He attacks us, so we pump him full of lead. And we approach this machine and activate the puzzle. And that brings that man back to life as a wacky, wild, inflatable, flailing arm tube man. And the fucking prick has this fucking reach. He's got really good reach because he's got tentacle arms now. Of course, I'm only on 1 hit point. I'm trying to run out of his way, but reloading slows me down. The good thing is, once he does go down, I can just shoot him while he's down on the ground. Like, haha, take that, dickhead. We stab him in the eye, and then the both of us fall into the abyss, where we fall through a collection of previous locations that we had visited, before finally landing in Deseto again, only to find out that stabbing the guy in the head resulted in Jeremy getting a free lobotomy from you. Edward's still having a bit of trouble waking up from unreality and starts pistol whipping the Dark Man until Batiste restrains him, and it's not the Dark Man, you're just beating up Dr. Gray at this point. It's probably a metaphor, but they restrain Edward and we begin chapter 5. Edward is calmed down now, and he goes out to talk to Dr. Gray and Jeremy, and that gives us back to normal. Now, since all the NPCs are gathered in this area, I go and talk to all of them to exhaust all their dialogue, because that leads to a trophy eventually. And now is a good time to make a hard save, because we're about to get get a couple different endings, and this is a good time to do so. I have collected the 3 lanyards that are needed for the Goat Without Horns set, the Preserved Reptile, Profane Totem, and Jangling Shaker. I have no idea how all 3 of those combined do anything, whatever. They're part of a set, which means we can use these for one of the alternate endings. Maybe this is what the tree was whispering to me about earlier, but the Goat Without Horns set is what the tree wants. So I'm going to go ahead and give the tree this set, and then we'll wait for Emily to arrive. And yes, it seems that all of these people are part of a cult and are trying to appease the black goat, which in this case is the tree, by sacrificing Grace, the little girl, who seems okay with it. She's fully on board with being sacrificed. And because of the offering that Edward just gave to the tree, he realizes that he is part of the cult and embraces them and starts chanting along with them. Emily does not understand Edward, so she bolts the hell out of there. And that ends the game for the first time. We didn't use any health items, so we got Teetotaler. And we got 1 of 1,000 young. That is for offering the lanyard to the tree just before the ending. So this time around we're going to reload the save I made before the offering, and this time I'm not going to offer the tree anything. Now instead of this, Emily causes a ruckus and it turns into a true Whomping Willow and starts killing everybody. It is an entirely mobile tree and can walk as well. That is a toothy boy. Time for a big bad boss fight. So all we need to do is shoot its pustules while avoiding its tentacles. Oh look! Now the game decides to tell me how to fucking dodge. Are you telling me I could have dodged this whole time? Thanks. Right at the final boss fight. That's really fucking helpful. The game has never once told me how to dodge until now. It tries to summon some of its minions, but we're just going to blow everything away. We're going to shoot at its acne until eventually the roof comes down and crushes it, and we are reunited outside with Emily and Jeremy and Grace, who has also survived somehow, and we leave as the whole place burns down, and that gives us the Case Closed trophy. So that is our first playthrough done. We have unlocked 57% of the trophies, which is pretty good. As I explained earlier, we can't get all the collectibles trophies until we have played as both characters. Some are character specific, others can be collected by either of them. Also, the good thing is I don't have to pick up things that I have already collected as Edward. They already count. I don't have to recollect them a second time. Chapter 1 starts exactly the same, and now we're playing as Emily, and I was expecting and looking forward to playing as Emily's side of the story. The moments when Edward would run into Emily, I thought was a bit strange because Emily wasn't behaving as if anything weird was going on, which I wasn't sure how that would work into her side of the story. And that's when I found that there is no second half of the story. Playing as Emily is the exact same storyline as playing as Edward. And this is really disappointing. I was hoping that there would be 2 interwoven stories, but there's not. It's just one story. You're just playing as a different character this time. It's basically just playing as a different skin. Emily's backstory is different from Edward's, but otherwise it is beat for beat the exact same thing. So a bit disappointed with that, but there are a few other trophies that I'm also going to get. We need to beat the game in less than 3 hours, and this is what I'm going to try and do with Emily, since I know the solutions to all the puzzles and I know where to go and what to do. So we're right back at the very beginning in the kitchen. Off to the pantry, I picked up the very first lanyard that I missed the first time around, and making sure I was exhausting all the early dialogue with the characters. I was only missing 1 trophy related to killing the enemies, which is to weaken an enemy with gunfire and then do the final blow with a throwable object, which I knocked out in the Voodoo Courtyard. Because this is the exact same story as Edward, I'm not going to go beat for beat through all this again. I grabbed the shotgun. Downstairs, I found Grace at the piano, which was different from Edward's run, and I also popped the trophy An Honest Day's Work, which is for playing 8 hours of the game. Given that I'm barely an hour into my second playthrough, that means that I took a long time with Edward the first time around. But we're going to head through the cemetery, through the library, through the shipping warehouse, through the Egyptian temple, find the X-ray, turn on the boat engine. So the big change with Emily's story is in the empty room, instead of going into Edward's past memory, we're going into Emily's memories set in World War I trenches, looking for her husband. Hey, it's that beast from earlier. It came back. I was starting to think it was irrelevant to the story. Look at that. I'm supposed to sneak past it at first, but I did try my luck at shooting it, and yep, it runs away. Fucking coward. No more sneaking bullshit. What is the point of this infirmary? There is nothing in it. It is a door that we can open, but there is nothing inside it. No collectibles, no ammo, no health. Fucking waste of my time. Better run. Open the door! Open the door! I don't have the key for the door! Oh no! Oh shit, here it comes! That was supposed to happen. It was supposed to knock me through the door. It looks like it killed itself too. What a dumbass. It looks like we might have found Emily's husband. Here we go. We reawaken somewhere in Deseto. Another letter. Oh, okay, that's all the letters / clues. We have got librarian. I'm really happy with that. I wasn't counting on that. Okay, that's good. That's one less thing to backtrack with later on. One of those dead bodies that we walked past earlier is John, Emily's husband, and it is implied that he suffered an illness or something that is why maybe he was committed here, but Emily sort of abandoned him, and very subtly we see that the Dark Man is standing there doing this to her. Also gives us the key to get out, which is interesting. Oh, we're in the infirmary. Oh, in those locked doors that we couldn't get to earlier. Oh, okay, that's good. So now it's back up to Dr. Gray's private room. This time the roles are reversed. You can see the portal in the closet. Edward thinks you're nuts. And then it's through the portal and out into the snow again. This guy out in the snow is much easier when you actually know how to dodge. So chapter 5 begins. We do what we did last time with Edward. We talk to everybody to exhaust all their dialogue. And I make a manual save again, just in case. Because I have gotten all the lanyards for the All the World's a Stage set, I can give Grace a present, which is one of our endings. And a strange ending at that, which I'm not going to try and bother explaining, which gives me what just happened. And because that's also an ending in under 3 hours, I also got the I Don't Got All Night trophy. So we'll reload that save, and this time we won't give Grace a present. We'll fight the tree, and the same 4 characters survive at the end, and we get safe and sound for another ending. That's now 2 playthroughs I've done. I've missed a couple of things. I have only missed 5 lanyards the whole time, 2 of which are actually connected to trophies, that being the sheet music and the Alone in the Dark book. Now, I was very confident that I got all the NPC conversations with Emily the first time around, but I was quite certain that I had missed the first 2 or so with Edward, and after exhausting all of Batiste's dialogue, I got Chatterbox. Everything else that I needed to get, I could do on an Emily playthrough, so I started again as Emily, trying to figure out which lock I hadn't picked. Turns out it was the very first safe, so that gives me You Can't Keep Me Out.
Wow, I can't believe I guessed the combination. I must be so...
And inside that safe was actually one of the lanyards that I was missing. When I found the opera playbill, that was the very last of the lanyards, so that unlocks... Look at all this free stuff I got. So now that I had unlocked that first safe, that gave me the full set of lanyards for the Heartwood Curse, which means I could just head up to the attic and interact with the noose up there to get Nobody Knows What Happened. Playing through, I made it back to Gray's private office again, and inside this little room on the off side, we have to use the paints on a picture that I had picked up earlier and change the painting. This shows the same picture that Jeremy had on Edward's run, and after we lobotomize Jeremy, we have this cutscene where the Dark Man arrives. Now that we've seen that picture of Jeremy performing a signal, we are given the opportunity to perform that signal to the Dark Man as well, which gives us the Radical Acceptance Trophy, and that unlocks the platinum as well. And that ends Alone in the Dark. I don't know if it's obvious, but I really did enjoy this game. I enjoyed the finding of the items and working out the puzzles. It didn't go too overboard. There was never 20 puzzles that were all up in the air that you had to remember which things were for what. And playing this, I can feel the influences. There are moments of the game where I can feel like this is where The Evil Within got it from. This is where the Amnesia series got it from. And as much as I loved it, I was still really disappointed that it was only 1 storyline instead of 2. I just assumed if we were playing as 2 characters, we'd have 2 storylines. Am I the only one that thought that? I don't know. The trophies for this game are very simple. Most of them are story related, so no matter which character you start as, you would get at least half of these trophies the first time around. So most of these trophies are pretty natural. There's very few that you have to go out of your way for. But I'm going to wrap it up there. That is Alone in the Dark. Thanks for watching, and like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And as always, don't forget to check behind the waterfall.